Hi everyone, Scrappy Kathy here, and welcome to Mixed Media Mayhem, in which I'm going to be following the recipe to use watercolors, splatters, and distressed edges, and 30 days of sketches with Christy's Beautiful Life. And this is today's sketch, and I'm going to kind of take the left half of it. I may do the whole sketch further down the road, but for today, I'm going to take the part with a big element in the middle. It's not going to be a photo. I'm going to have a rather small photo kind of in the middle of that. But I'm going to do my watercolor there. And then I'm going to have the strips at the top and at the bottom. I'm not going to have that title strip down the side unless I feel like putting it on that way. And I might, who knows. And I'm doing today's load prompt. Today's load prompt has to do with your home, or whether you have always wanted to or have lived overseas. And so this is going to be a photo of our home in Brussels, 2000, 2001, 2002. And it was a 4-story building. We lived on the 3rd and 4th floors of it. And it was an amazing place. We loved it in spite of the fact that it was the only home that they showed me that didn't have a parking space, didn't have a garage. And we had to find our parking in the middle of what is arguably one of the most popular restaurant districts in Brussels. And Brussels is known for its fabulous restaurants. So anyway, I'm not going to have much of a story here because I have an album about our home in Brussels. And I went through that album and found that I had some photos of us in front of the door, which you can't see in this picture. This shows the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th floors of the building, and I had the 1st floor showing, but I hadn't ever really scrapped this photo. So that's why it's going in that book today. And the story of the place and that time is told in that album, so I'm not going to do it in journaling on this page. So for my watercoloring, I'm going to, let's see, I know I have a really soft, that's kind of a stiff brush. Let's see how that works out for me. I'm going to spray the water in this little tray. I've got Vicki Boutin's foundation paper here, and I'm using her Cosmic watercolors. I'm going to use this brush, and I'm going to kind of in an attempt to somewhat match the color of the bricks, the colors that the bricks came out, and somewhat look like let me spray my water. I really want kind of this look of dragging. And I want it kind of in that center area, and I can go over, as long as I keep it wet enough, I can drag more color in. Not really trying to create a painting so much as to create a mood in the background. And these colors have a sheen to them. And I'm wanting that to come out. And now I'm going to get a really good swipe with a lot of color on it. And I want the splatters to be as much a part of the composition as anything else. And I want the splatters pretty much all over. Okay, I think I'm done with that. Let me put these things aside. And I'll get this out to kind of blot this. Ooh, the shine really comes up when you blot it dry like that. This is just kind of a, I've done this technique, this just swaths of color with acrylic paint before, and loved how it turned out. In fact, one of my very favorite layouts that I've ever made used that technique. Now I'm going to put these, because I don't want to work in the middle there yet, I'm going to put these strips across the top and add some stitching to them. Ooh, that is really shiny and coppery. It is gorgeous. And the technique prompt in the load challenge today was to use black and white and gray based on the colors in Chrissie Hynde's wardrobe. And she's the lead singer for the Pretenders. And the theme this time is women of rock. And so I'm kind of curling these up because you can see a little bit of color on the other side. It's a Paige Evans paper, and it's black and gray stripes, and on the white background I've got my black and gray and white. I didn't want that to be a major color influence because black and gray and white is, you know, kind of not my jam. But I do think this is going to make kind of a nice frame. And the building right next to us was exactly that color gray. It was a, we were in the neighborhood where a lot of the consulate offices were. We lived fairly close to the headquarters of the European Union. And this was like a Dutch government building that was headquartered there, and it had its residents, or the people. It was not exactly an office building, but it was a place for the Dutch representatives to the European Union to stay. And then on the other side was the whole home was occupied by a lady who had been there for, I think, 50 years. And so it was kind of an interesting neighborhood. And we had right on the other side of the gray building was a really good restaurant that I felt comfortable going in alone when I was living there before John had had moved over. I got relocated. I got stationed in Brussels before his expat papers came through. Took forever for all of that to get straightened out, and many trips to addresses. I have no idea how I managed that, to addresses that we had no GPS in those days, so I don't know how I found directions. The street names were not on the streets, they were on the sides of the buildings, so you had to look very far away from your field of vision. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to pull this back up, and I'm going to paint these letters with a little watercolor. And I'm sure you can't see what I'm doing, so I'm going to move it up kind of into the frame here. And it's kind of coming out interesting, almost grainy in a way. But as long as I get them all looking the same, I think I'll be okay. Let me move that back up here and do it like this. When it soaks in to, this is kind of almost a canvas fabric on these letters. Oops. It's got a canvas texture anyway. I'm sure it's just paper, but it absorbs this color in an unusual way. So this is kind of a last minute. I took the watercolor prompt to the extreme here, in that I used an app on my phone called Waterlog that actually turns a photo into a watercolor painting. So that's how I produced this photo. So my idea was that I wanted the photo kind of a little bit off center so that the swiping could show. And I thought I would tuck a floral piece kind of underneath there. And I have a goofy sort of combination of a frame and a leaf right here. And then, you know, when they had the title coming down, I suppose I could do that, couldn't I? And if I do that, do I even need this? And I kind of like that the line of bricks right there, it kind of reflects the stripes there. I think I'm just going to do that. And then I think I found on here, yeah, there's a memories together. So that can go, well, maybe right here. So very simple, just, and I might, if I'm using that, I may use this up top there. Okay, so let me get this on there. And I'm going to put this kind of like so, and I will write the address, which is Rue des Adouatiques, 69. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. let me get that. That can go there. I like that it breaks that line and goes outside this. And what I want to do is put something to support the leaves out there. And then I won't worry about adhering the rest because that paper's a little bit damp. I thought about doing some stenciling, and I thought, I think I'll just keep it simple. Let me get that. I like the floral touch, and I'm kind of gonna move this a little closer to the photo, kind of start right there. Okay, and I think that's all I want. Maybe nothing. Well, these are the best days, but I don't think I will. I'll add that. What I do want to add is some stitching. And I'm going to pull this stitching out and kind of put the larger one here and then the shorter one there. Just gonna I peeled it up on the sides there, but left this down so that it can look like the stitching is holding it down. Not sure if that's a thing, but let's see how it works. I wonder, did any of you see the little reel or short that Katie Petite did yesterday where she was putting her 49 and Market rub-ons on a pumpkin? And I must try that. It was so cute. And of course, if I'm going to put it on a pumpkin, it needs to be one of the fall rub-ons, and I don't have any fall rub-ons because I don't do fall. But, you know, we kind of do pumpkins. In fact, one of the best photos I have of John was of him painting a pumpkin. James bought a bunch of small pumpkins and dumped them on the table and said, "Ma, get out your art supplies, let's paint pumpkins." So it was not much more, there was not much more planning than that. Okay, so right there is where that's gonna go. This is just a little tiny detail that I thought would add a little bit to the page. All right. So let's check to see if I'll bring that sketch up again. If you just look at this one side, it has elements across the top and then a big photo, and I've got a big watercolory space there, and then it has the title down. So I'm thinking I'm sort of on point there, but and I have got watercolor, splatters, and distressed edges on the, and for load I have talked about my home and a do I want to add that there? The color is just so perfect. And in talking about the home, I've used those colors. You know I'm going to put this on here. And it's just going to kind of go right there. And I'm going to just drape this kind of around it. So I have everything. In fact, before I did this, I had everything I needed. But that just gives it kind of a little more structure, and it kind of extends things down like this is. And all I have to do is add I'm gonna say our Brussels home. And then I can put down here and it's kind of messed up right there. I'll wait till it's dry and kind of fix that. And the area we were in was Etterbeek. And Bruxelles. Okay, so I'm done. Thank you for watching. And be sure to check out the album on Facebook for all the other folks using the same recipe for Mixed Media Mayhem. And check out all the inspiration around with the hashtag 30DSCBL13. It's a series 13, the 13th series of 30 Days of Sketches with Christy's Beautiful Life. And Load is sponsored by Scrap Happy, and check out scraphappy.org if you want to get a membership or just sign up for the loads individually when they come about. They're some of the best prompts, and it'll have you scrapping more introspectively than you usually do, and scrapping about some subjects you hadn't really thought to tell the stories of. So anyway, I'm enjoying all of those challenges. I thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.